Can I ask you something? When was the last time someone asked you to do something, anything? Volunteer, take on an extra task, or say yes to something you really didn't want to do, and you did it anyway? And afterward, did you feel exhausted? Maybe a little bit resentful? Maybe your pain even flared up? I used to think that that was just the price of being a good person, a good mom, a good partner, a good employee, taking everything on. But here's what I've come to understand, that exhaustion, that resentment, and that physical flare up, that wasn't just me being weak. That was my nervous system telling me something that was very important. So today we're talking about people pleasing. What it really is, why do we do it? And most importantly, why it might be one of the biggest drivers of, chronic pain and chronic symptoms. So let's get into it. So let's first define what we're actually talking about here, because people pleasing is a bit more nuanced than just being nice. People pleasing is happening when we choose what to say, what to do, or what not to do based on, us trying to manage what the other person think and feel about us. So it's really not driven by it's really driven by our ability to and our need to manage others. It's not just, kindness, it's that compulsion to prioritize others' people comfort above our own, and often at the cost of our own needs, our own truth, ultimately at the cost of our own body. And here's where it gets really interesting from a nervous system perspective. When you people please, you essentially suppressing your authentic response. So we are pushing away something down, an opinion, a need, a feeling, and presenting something else in that place. And that suppression, that actually takes like a lot of energy, a lot of energy out of us. It activates the stress response. It keeps our nervous system in a low level of alertness, always monitoring the social environment, always scanning for approval or disapproval, always being on. And over time, a nervous system that is always on is a nervous system that is primed for chronic pain. So the research in pain reprocessing therapy and mind-body medicine has shown us that one of the most consistent factors in the development and persistency of chronic pain is exactly this: a nervous system under chronic, psychological stress. And people pleasing is part of it. So this is not about acute stress. It's about chronic, low level, ongoing stress. The kind that comes from years of not saying what you mean, years of giving up when you had nothing left to give and giving that to other people, and years of putting yourself last. So what can we do about it? The work starts inside. It starts with what I call internal safety, learning to be on your own side, to give yourself permission to have needs, to recognize your needs, and to recognize that those needs are not a burden and your truth is not a threat. So we also start building the skill of boundaries. And I really want to be clear here. Boundaries are not walls. They're not about shutting people out. They're about letting people know what works for you and what doesn't. They're an act of respect for yourself, first of all, and for the relationship. So we practice keeping promises to ourselves. Small ones at first, and when you say you're going to rest, you actually gonna rest. You're gonna honor that promise to yourself. And when you say you need to say no, you're saying no. And you start building that evidence list that you can trust yourself. And we do this through the work because a lot of people pleasing is driven by deep-seated beliefs. Beliefs like, if I don't do this, they'll be upset. If they're upset, if they leave, I'm not enough. So we start to examine those beliefs gently and question whether they're actually true. And it's not an easy work, but it's really profound, and it's directly connected to your nervous system ability to move out of that threat state, and then in doing so, to move out of chronic pain. If you want to go deeper with this, I do have a free chronic pain starter kit linked below. It's great first step in understanding your nervous system symptoms and the system actually overall and beginning this journey. If you have any questions, post them below. I love to see it. Or even if you have any ideas for a video you want to see, post that below. And you can always book a free discovery call if you are stuck anywhere with a new healing journey and you want to get ideas for the next steps. I work with women just like you that are, every day struggling with people pleasing. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next video, and I'll see you there.